Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Don Puno, and I will be your host for today. It's our pleasure to welcome you to our 10th industry panel discussion on succession planning for family-owned freight forwarders. How do you plan for it? Brought to you by RW Solutions. RW Solutions is headquartered in Hong Kong and currently has 8 freight forwarding networks that are into industry niches. RW networks are very much focused on handling capabilities of forwarders from pharma, perishables, NVOCC, and FCL to geographic interests like Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. By having specialized groups, members engage in more meaningful business exchanges with more qualified networking across their various brands. At present, we have over 1,000 members from 100 countries under the RW umbrella. All of our panel speakers for today are coming from various RW networks. Today's program will last about 1 hour. Now, at this time, we'd like to open up the microphone to the audience to get to know everyone a little bit better so that our speakers can understand who their audience is today. So in this segment, I'll call you out and unmute yourself, introduce yourself, mention which company and country you're from, what time it is where you are, and why you're excited to join today's panel discussion. So let's take a look around the gallery right now. Even if your camera is off, I will still call on you. Hopefully you're still there. Kevin Lim, we'll start with you. Kevin, are you there? Kevin Lim with the very nice mountains in the background.
Hi, morning or afternoon.
Good morning.
I'm on the road right now, and it's a little bit challenging for me to get on a speaker right now.
Okay, well, we don't want you getting into an accident or anything. I guess just a quick shout out about where you're from.
From Singapore.
From Singapore.
From,
okay.
Megaton Shipping.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us today. All right, let's move right along then to, how about Mr. Dave? Hi, Mr. Dave. If you could unmute yourself. Just unmute your microphone and we can, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dave. I work at Quantum Logistics Cambodia Co. Ltd as a brand manager.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully we can teach you something with our panel today.
Okay.
Next, can we call on, let's see, how about Martin Cunningham?
You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you okay.
Yeah, my name is Martin Cunningham. I'm from a company called Hawthorne Logistics in Dublin, Ireland.
All right, welcome. And what interested you today about our topic?
Well, I just got an email. I'm a proprietor of a freight company, and I just got an email there the other day, and I thought it'd be interesting to join. I've never joined anything before that RW have organized.
Oh, well, great. Well, we're glad to have you here today, and hopefully this is something that you can see yourself doing every few months, which is how often we usually do this.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to, I will just briefly introduce our speakers for today, and then they can go ahead and introduce themselves. First off today, we have Roy Walker and Daniel Walker of Sanford Freight. Then we have Daniel Fanning of D&D Worldwide Logistics. And then next we have Ashish Asaf of SA Consultants and Forwarders. And then we have Pamela Pasimio from Phil World International Forwarding and Brokerage Services, and Amin Altaf, Director of Servitec Shipping from UAE. All right, so today our main topic is succession planning for family-owned freight forwarders and how do you plan for it? But before we proceed, May I request that you switch into the side-by-side speaker screen? We have prepared 4 questions for our topics for today. So I'll start with the first one. Could you give us a short introduction about your company and I suppose yourselves? We'll start with the Walkers. If you can just unmute your microphone. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Good
hi.
morning,
So
everyone.
nice to meet everybody again. It's been a while since Dubai. So I'm Roy Walker. I'm the managing director at Sanford Freight. We're a international freight forwarding and logistics company. Actually celebrating 25 years in business this year. So I started the company 25 years ago. My son is also on the call. We're both working from home this morning, so we're in separate locations. He joined the company just under 10 years ago. He's shown a very keen interest in the business, and we feel it's the right time now for me over the next 5 years to mentor him, to look at taking over the company business. That's the plan. Daniel,
right,
do you want to
Daniel?
speak a little bit?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, just to echo what my dad said, really, I've been in the industry for just coming up to 10 years now. And obviously I've just worked my way up, just started at the bottom and just sort of slowly learned all the different aspects of the industry. And obviously I've just started coming to some of the conferences. I was in Dubai last year, and I look forward to seeing everyone as well in Vietnam this year. So yeah.
All right, thanks. Thank you, guys. Thanks. We'll move to Daniel Fanning. Daniel Fanning, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Don. How are you all?
Good.
I'm Daniel Fanning, D&D Worldwide Logistics in Australia. I'm the managing director of a small international freight forwarder based in Geelong, Melbourne, Victoria. We represent the whole of Australia. I started the business 10 years ago, and part of this event tonight to learn more, obviously as part of a group that have a lot more expertise, but also to pass on some knowledge in some way.
All right, excellent. And let's move right along to Ashish Asaf. Are you there?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. This is Ashish Asaf from SA Consultants and Forwarders Private Limited. I'm the group managing director. I started this company along with my father in year 2000. We'll be completing 23 years. We are India's only neutral wholesale freight forwarding company, doing close to 2,200 tons a month of air freight out of 9 locations in India. I took over the company from my father in year 2010. It has been a fantastic journey for us. We are among the top 10 IATA companies in India, among top 3 local companies in India. Yeah, that's about it from my side.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. How about Pamela? Are you there?
Yeah,
Or is it
hi.
Nadine?
Yeah, Nadine. You can call me Nadine.
Okay, Nadine.
Hi, I am Nadine Baligod Pasinio from the Philippines. And I work at Phil World International Freight Forwarding Services and Brokerage Inc. Hold on, sorry. It's calling. Sorry, hold on.
Oh, no worries.
There you go. Sorry. Okay. Again, I'm Nadine Baligod Pasinio from the Philippines, and I work at Phil World International Freight Forwarding and International Freight Forwarding and Brokerage Services Inc. So Phil World International is a freight forwarding, customs brokerage, and trucking company established in 1990. So we are a 29-year-old company now. We specialized in reefer, pharmaceuticals, PESA and non-PESA shipments, both by air and sea freight. My father, who started the company 29 years ago, started the organization as a customs brokerage and trucking company with only one LCL truck unit and more or less a 9 square meter office. But now, as the company continues to grow, I initiated the expansion to forwarding, and what I'm eyeing to prepare for now is warehousing as well. So just a few months ago, we have been accredited as a member of Life Logistics Network. So we are a new pharma forwarder here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. All right. And lastly, we have Amin Altaf. Amin.
Hello, everyone. This is Amin Altaf from Servotech Shipping, for UAE and Pakistan. We are neutral LCL consolidator from Pakistan to Pakistan and to and fro UAE. We have branches across Pakistan in major cities in Lahore, Sialkot, Karachi, Dubai, and own CFS in Jabal Ali. The company was started in the year 99, so we are celebrating our 24 years anniversary this year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we are done with our introduction. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the conversation here. So let's move on to our second question. How do you decide who takes over the company, and should it be a family member or a professional manager? So for this, I will ask three of you, and then if anybody wants to, I'm going to ask these questions randomly to you, and then if anybody wants to add to the subject later on who didn't get to speak, just do so as you please. So we'll go ahead and start with Ashish Asaf. If you could also unmute your microphone, please. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's very simple. The person who deserves it should definitely take over the company. It might not necessarily be my own children, although my children are very small. It depends on their interest. Of course, I've been telling them about the company too. Interested. But then if they need to go through the regular regime, sort of like anybody else. I don't, and in case if they're not interested, I don't mind. I've got some fantastic professionals working within the organization. I've been personally grooming them, quite a few of them, for past couple of years. And I think that's how I intend to do it. I have a couple of names in my mind. It's too early, but then of course succession planning is extremely essential and important, because short you never know what happens next. That's about it. My side, of course, I mean, just because they're my kids, my family, doesn't mean that they are capable enough to run the company. Our thought process should align. Our goal should align. These are some of the more important things which I look for successor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ashish. Next, we'll ask someone who's probably doing this as we speak, setting up the next generation. Roy, would you like to give us some insight on this?
Sure, no problem. So, you know, from my perspective, when I first started the company, I had no real intention that, you know, I didn't know that my children would be interested in taking the business over. Daniel actually sort of joined me by accident 10 years ago. He's actually a keen golfer, and he was playing golf. Wasn't really going to make it as a professional, so I said, "Why don't you come and see what we do as a company?" So he came into the office 10 years ago, liked what he saw, and as I say, it's been a gradual progression for him, going through all the different guys who's in operations, learning the business. During that period, again, I still didn't know if it would be something that I wanted him to do. You know, you do think about staff that have been loyal to you for a long time. Would you do something with them potentially? But obviously you have to look at their capabilities. Are they capable of actually running the company, making key strategic decisions? And, you know, although I've got good loyal staff that have been with me a long time, I just didn't feel that any of them were up to the task. And obviously, yes, you know, in the last sort of 2 or 3 years with COVID, the way things have been with the business, you know, I'm getting to a certain age where, although I still love the business, you know, everything becomes a little bit more tiresome. You know, you haven't got the energy probably levels that you had when you're in your 30s and your 40s. And yeah, my son's definitely sort of stepped up over the last couple of years. And we are, as I say, we don't know how long this process is going to take. It might take 5 years, it might take 10 years. I'm definitely probably not as active in the business in day-to-day operations now that I was a couple of years ago. Daniel's getting more involved in that. I still visit the customers, and the customers still know me, and I'm probably still the main key person that they come to when there's a major issue. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a 4 or 5 year process. I think where we are now, I look at it, I'm 55. I'd like to think that by the time I'm 60, I'm still going to be working in the business. It's still my business. But I think, you know, on a day-to-day basis, Daniel will be pretty much taking over all the key strategic decisions. That's our plan.
All right, Daniel, any rebuttal to that assessment? Still can't hear you yet.
Sorry, yeah,
There you go.
yeah, no, just to yeah, agree with sort of what my dad said. It's been a bit of a process more over the last couple of years. I'd say the hardest part is actually sort of as I progress up, it's kind of finding someone as well and putting the right people in place that can kind of take over what I was doing, because obviously that gap is then sort of appears, and it's just trying to make sure that you've got the right people in them places as well, to take over kind of more operational role, whereas I need to now sort of look after the sale, you know, going out and visiting customers and kind of doing the stuff that my dad's doing. So it's kind of putting the right people in place to look after what I would be doing on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, at the minute we're kind of working towards that. We've made some changes. You know, we've tried things as well. You know, we got a guy in from outside and it didn't work out, and then we sort of promoted someone else from within. So it's challenging, but yeah, we're slowly getting there now.
All right, great, excellent insight. All right, and lastly, I'm just curious also from a traditional Filipino perspective, since I'm also Filipino. Nadine, what would you say that family first is generally the way, at least in your experience?
Yeah, well, actually, personally and based on experience, I still prefer a family member. But of course, with a long list of qualifications and conditions, I chose the professional managers on a professional level, skills and work ethic wise, but a family member who has seen how the company was built from the ground up. In my case, by my father, the amount of care and concern in continuing the business and growing the business is, I think, innate and cannot be denied. However, I also recognize the fact that in the absence of family member, a professional manager with, you know, with the same intentions and goals, maybe a well-trained and a trusted one, can definitely work too. But in our case, since I have 5 more siblings, and when the time's right, and when we get to have kids as well, we also want to pass on the business to them, just like the other speakers as well.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess also that means you got to grow the business exponentially, because family only gets bigger and bigger as you go down the line, right?
True.
All right, so does anybody do Daniel, Amin, do you have any thing you'd like to add to this topic?
Hi guys. Yeah, I'd probably say I'd love to pass on my business to my family and my children. I've got 2 little ones, so I've got a while to wait for that one. But I've got a 19-year-old who I'm slowly working into the business now, and you know, the dream is to one day have him on board and help lead the team, and hopefully Dad can retire to the office in the Bahamas.
Right. That is the dream. All right. Amin, anything to add?
Well, I would agree to all the panel speakers that yes, family kind of first, but they should be capable and willingness to do the business continuing the same value. And if not, okay, maybe a professional manager.
Okay, all right. So if the family qualifies, and if they have the right frame of mind, then definitely family, but otherwise there's plenty of professionals who probably could qualify as well. All right, let's go to our next question. How long does succession planning take? And I guess what are all of the steps that go into all of that? Let's start with you, Daniel.
Right, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah, this is a good question. And Roy probably said it beautifully earlier. It's a bit of a work in progress answer. I've got a 19-year-old, as I said, working with the business, and I think ideally 10 to 15 years down the track, if all works out well, and like I said, I can pass on the business to him. That's where I'd be looking. But that obviously will test over time, and a lot of things happen in the last few years. A lot of things have obviously happened. We've had a beautiful manager come on board as well, and she's got vast experience, and that has changed a bit for us. So he might have a bit of competition as a family-owned business to who takes over and how long it takes as well.
Right. That potentially could be a healthy thing, right? A very healthy development to keep
I
everybody.
hope so.
All right. Amin, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, how long does the succession planning take? It can take really long. You cannot have a fixed formula unless you're the one who is giving up the management to the second generation. He has to be confident on the person who's taking over, taking all the capabilities, decision making, and having a growth and vision. So it can take anywhere between 5, 10, 15 years. I'm with my father for more than 10 years now, working with him. He's still in the business, and I'm sure he still has very long to go. So there's no exact formula or time period where you can actually decide that when can the second generation or the management can take over the succession.
Mm-hmm. Right. There's nothing set in stone, no rules, no set rules to this particular playbook. Right. I think we lost one of our speakers. I think Ashish might have disconnected, but we'll try to get him back later. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to Roy. Why don't you give us some thoughts? How is the succession planning going? How long?
As you say, there's no formula to it. I don't think anyone's written a manual on how to pass your business down to your children. As I say, with the industry being multifaceted, the first thing is getting, from my perspective, Daniel to meet the customers. He's dealt with them over the telephone and over email, but obviously now that we're able to go back and do face-to-face, he's starting to meet the key decision makers with our customers. So they get to know him and know that obviously the first point of contact, if there is a problem, is him. So the sales side of things, I'm looking at that's going to hopefully happen during the course of this year. He's flying solo, as I say, when he comes down to Vietnam to come to the conference in May. That's the first time that I won't have been with him, so he'll be doing that on his own. And he's going to the Intermodal next month in Brazil on his own as well. So these are things that traditionally I would have done. And I've been there, got the T-shirt, it doesn't hold any interest to me now, wanting to get on the plane for 10 hours, unless I'm going to the Maldives or somewhere like that. That's okay, but to a conference, no. But the financial side of things, that's not something that I've started showing him yet. The management accounts and, the breakdown of, he gets involved with our accounts team on a day-to-day basis with things, but not, the structure of putting together budgets for the year and things like that. So these are the things that I'm thinking probably next year we'll start doing that together, so I can show him the workings of the company and how the finances actually work. So that's something that's, I say 2020, 2024 project. And then obviously we've got things to do with, looking at changing our IT, looking at the way we are as an online freight forwarder. I'm an old school generation freight forwarder. So this is where I'm looking at Daniel, along with a couple of the other people that work for me that are younger, but obviously IT savvy, to see what we can do to make the company more into the, to compete now on a level playing field with these online freight forwarders that we seem to be losing business out. So that's the next stage where, I'm looking at the younger generation, bringing new and fresh ideas into the company.
Roy, I have one question for you. What one old school trait would you not want the next generation to lose sight of?
not taking everything not taking everything for granted, I would say. As I say, I think a lot of the youngsters now, they don't have the right work ethic. You know, they want to come in at 9 o'clock, want to go home at 5:30, go to the gym, that type of thing. They don't realize that, you know, freight forwarding isn't a 9 to 5 industry. You know, there's going to be occasions where, unfortunately, you got to shelve your plans and stay behind to wait for the truck to come back or some documents to happen. I mean, I know, you know, I know we're now in the IT age where everything is email and everything else, but you know, it's making sure you find people with the right work ethic. And a lot of the youngsters, I think, that join the industry don't realize it. I mean, you know, they want to say just do the 8 hours a day, 37 hours a week or whatever. And that's not what the industry is about, unfortunately.
Right. The grit, the burning the midnight oil, that kind of thing.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. We have Ashish back. Let's get his take on this. Ashish, what do you think? How long do you think a succession planning would take, or what would it entail, basically?
Well, to be honest, the succession planning should start as soon as you succeed. So I took over from my father. I trained under him for 10 years. It was not easy, to be honest. I had to slog just like anybody else. And eventually, when I was given key responsibilities, I had to prove myself as well. And of course, I mean, I've got 4 kids. So, and they still have the eldest one, I mean, 10 years to come in business. That is if they want to. You know, it depends if they'll be interested or not. But then as for me, as soon as you succeed, the succession planning should start. And like I said, I have some amazing professionals working within my organization. Life is short. You never know what happens. I don't think so. I see myself working for a very, very long time. And I don't mind handing over the business to the right professional who share the same vision. You know, there's a Harvard study which is there that, you know, most of the businesses don't last or run successfully for third generation. After third generation, they have their own reasons for it, because the kids, they are not that serious. Rightly put by Walker Roy, that, you know, they're not that serious at the moment, because this profession takes a lot, especially when you're learning. You can't expect just to be working 9 to 5 job. No, you can't. You need to actually do away with your personal life completely, and especially taking over a freight forwarding business is not an easy thing. And this is my father's and myself sweat and blood in this company, and I will not let anybody else you know, just ruin it for me. It's not necessary that they're my own blood. Of course, I mean, I would give them preference, but then if they're not capable, no way. I mean, I don't have any qualms of professionals running the company. I have big ambitions for the company. I intend to grow the company multifolds, like I have grown when I took over from my father, and I expect the same from my successor. And moreover, the same ideology, I would say, I mean, it's not, I want someone who's better than me to take over the company and grow the business even more. This is what I feel.
Right. And I guess also the legacy of what you put in place is an important thing as
Absolutely. Well. Just like my biggest thing is that I need to carry my father's legacy forward. I mean, he's known for his ethics and discipline in the industry, and I've been successfully being able to take it forward. I've grown the business multifolds, and something similar. I mean, I want my successor to be better than me, and if it's not my own bloodline, I don't mind. I would welcome professionals who share the same vision for the organization to run it for me, so that it can go on for generations, to be honest.
But without sacrificing perhaps the core values of the business.
Absolutely. That's the most important thing for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for that, Ashish. Let's go ahead and go to our final panel discussion question for today. How and when is the best time to transfer the ownership of the company to the next generation? So with definitively passing the torch, I guess, is the specific question on this one. So let's go and start with let's ask Daniel Fanning.
Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, again, it's a good question, Don. Definitive. Well, you, like everyone has really said, you need to be completely comfortable with that next process. So if you're not completely comfortable in all facets of the business being run by someone else and not yourself, then you can't do it. So once you have that feeling and you're confident, then you can go on. Again, that can take time. It can change over time as well. So, you know, the answer is probably pretty broad, but I think that feeling, once you get that feeling and you're completely confident, then you can pass it on and move on if you need to.
Mhm, mhm. Right off into the sunset. All right.
Yeah, into the Bahamas, like I said.
Right, right. Okay, all right. How about you, Nadine? What are your thoughts on this?
I think the best time to transfer the ownership or the legacy is when the successor is ready to step on a higher position and accept a bigger role and responsibility. Not necessarily in the same level as what the predecessor has achieved and accomplished, because we all know that in reality, two different generations cannot have the same exact perspective and way of thinking because of the industry trends and technology. Even the values and the culture, as mentioned by Sir Roy, there's really a difference. There's a generation gap, but there's no specific number of years. But it's really when I think the successor is ready to fill the position and accept the job. In my case, I am the eldest, but I have no interest in taking over the company. I have a younger and only brother, and I work with him along with my other sister, but we all see him as the successor of the company. And my father is actually training him right now and preparing him right now. When he joined the company, it was his first job, and he was exposed to the different areas of the business. So from the legwork, the real job as a freight forwarder, broker, and trucker, he has done that, and until now, we're happy that he still stay late to check on the trucks and the deliveries and other stuff. But I think we as again the eldest, and I think my father, I really appreciate him, but we all agree that he's not ready yet. He's still young. He needs to be trained more, though he's been working for the company for I think 7 years. I've been working for 8 years here. But yeah, I think the best time to transfer the ownership is when he is ready, when the successor is ready. So yeah.
Okay. And then I want to find out from Daniel when he thinks his time will be. Daniel, your thoughts. Daniel Walker, that is.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's just a case of, I mean, over the past sort of 10 years, I've learned all the sort of day-to-day aspects and the operational side of things. But sort of as my dad said earlier, it'd be a case now of me stepping away from that and letting some of the other people that we've got to manage the day-to-day, spending some time just learning the management kind of accounts. I mean, I've been to all of our overseas networks, so I've got to know a lot of the agents and stuff like that now. So I would say, any time really when my dad's ready to just play more golf than he does already, basically. Then yeah, I would say that I would be ready to kind of take it over. I would say you can't put a time, and I don't see that. My dad's only 55. I don't see that he needs to completely step away. I'd always sort of bounce ideas, and even when I was, if I was to take it over myself, I'd always, ask him for advice, and I'm sure he'd still want to be involved as well somewhere, maybe in a sort of like a chairman position, or that kind of, or however we do it. But yeah, I would say that after 10 years now, I'd say I'm definitely in a good position. But there was just some kind of finer details that I haven't actually spent any time with looking at yet with my dad. But yeah, I would say at this point, it's good to have an understanding of everything. I think I understand going to the conferences was a big jump kind of understanding the importance of like networking, you know, building them relationships, how important that is, and then meeting the customers as well. And you know, in the UK, our day-to-day customers, that's vitally important. So it gives you a great understanding and kind of the importance of, you know, how when you come back into the office, when someone's kind of quoting on a job and you think, oh, I've just met them, you know, I just met them in, you know, Dubai or at one of the conferences, or I just went and visited, drove 100 miles to go and visit them in the UK. Like you kind of see it from a different perspective.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say, yeah, in answer to the question, it's just when, you know, basically when my dad feels ready, basically.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah, I'm sure I'll be ready.
All right. And we'll go ahead and we'll go one more person here, one more speaker. Amin, your thoughts on this?
Well, I guess it's quite similar with the question, the previous questions I answered, that what is the best time? Okay, when you got the predecessors got to feel that the person taking over is ready, is confident, is going to continue the same value. Again, there's no specific time, but it has to be a moment when the predecessors feel and the successor is actually okay to take over. Like since Narayan said that, okay, she has been working for some time, but she's not ready. I'm working for like more than 15 years. I'm still not ready. So there is no specific time frame when you can say actually, okay, let's give it, like it's been 20 years, let's give it to the next generation. There are times when people have working for more than 2 decades, but still they are not ready to take over, and they're not, and predecessors are also not confident to hand over. So it has to be a movement. You cannot decide a time frame for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I mean, if any of our speakers would like to expound on any of the points that were, or the question topic points for today, now would be the time if you'd like to add to any of that. Anyone? Any of our speakers?
Oh.
Oh, there you are, Roy. Yeah, your mic was already on, actually. I think it's off now. Roy,
Can you hear
there
me?
you go. Yeah, now we can.
No problem. I think the key element is whether it's your son, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your niece, your cousin, whatever it may be, a family member. You've got to make sure that they first and foremost enjoy the industry. There's no point in forcing them to do something. If they don't like the business, then you can't force them to stay in it. You can't force them to want to take over from you. So they've got to be willing to do it, I think, is the first aspect. So not only have I got Daniel, I've actually got a daughter that Emily. She came to the company about 18 months, 2 years ago. She came from, she was working at a nursery with children, and it's not a particularly well-paid job, that industry. And I said, look, why don't you come and come to the business, see what you think of it. She's been with me just under 2 years, but it's not for her. So she's gone back into the industry, the nursery industry, and she's going to get her qualifications and go down that route, because she really does enjoy working with little children. So it's not for everybody. That's what I'm going to say. You know, it's only because Daniel's shown the interest that obviously we're sort of going forward down the route that we're going, but it isn't for everybody. So you've got to make sure that, you know, as you say, when is the time right? Well, the time is right is if your family member, whoever it may be, is showing the right interest and the right attributes, and they probably are a better fit than maybe one of your key managers or one of your key professional managers you've got working for you. That's what I would say.
Okay. And then if none of your kids find the interest to it, then may the best qualified person.
Correct. Yeah, you do a management buyout with some of your key staff, perhaps, you know.
Right. All right.
Absolutely.
Any other comments from any of our other speakers?
Yeah, I have my own opinion on this. Well, I must congratulate Roy. You do have a successor. Trust me, if it was me, I would have actually passed on the baton and moved on, probably doing something. And to be honest, I would love to do that tomorrow. You know, I wish I had someone, because running a business is not an easy task, as we all know. there's a saying, with great powers and great responsibility. There's a lot going on in our mindset as the business owners, because as the profits are on, the liabilities also are on. The profits and losses are all part of the business. You need to be mentally tough to actually go on and face the bigger problems going on within the company, in the industry. You see, it is a long process, and I do see training some of my peers I am observing already, and this is not. I'm not going to take forever just to wait for my kids to grow up and take over the company. No, I'm, like I said, I'm blessed to have some amazing professionals working within the organization. I also, as a company, we are in process of formulating a board, which consists of family members, which consists of eminent trade personalities, independent directors, who would actually will have a say on the successor. Because as I don't want to be biased, I want to do the best for my company eventually. And just because by the virtue of a person being my son or daughter does not mean that he's well qualified. Those of you who have found those successors in your family, you're very, very lucky, you know. But like rightly said, it's not necessary that you know, the kids would want to be in this profession. And of course, I mean, my father never forced this profession on me. I've grown up looking up to him, learning from him, and as I started working with him, I got in awe of him. I got really interested in this, you know, this fraternity in freight forwarding, and that is what it is. And I really hope that in coming years, you know, I have someone who's ready so that I can pass on the baton. And I would love to start, not retire, but start something else. You know, I would love to do that.
All right, thank you so much for your insight there. If there's no other comments on this topic, I think we can go ahead and wrap it up for today. So I think we're all okay. Okay. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for your contribution to RW Solutions 10th panel discussion. Daniel, Roy, Ashish, Nadine, and Amin, thank you so much. We appreciate you making the time for us, and we would like to thank everyone who's attended today's panel discussion. I hope you all had a great time. I know I did. Thanks for attending. If you have the chance, please do visit our RW website, where all our networks are showcased. You might be interested to be joining one of our networks moving forward, where we promote partnership networking amongst freight forwarders. And also, we have left you a poll. If you could please take a couple minutes to fill it up, it'll be very helpful to inform us about what we should do moving forward with our panel discussions. Once again, thank you so much, everybody, and have a beautiful day. Thank you to all the speakers, and have a good one, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, Don.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye from Qatar. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye from Sri Lanka. Hi, Abdul.
Bye-bye from Cambodia.
Thank you. Thank you very much.